Chapter 1. I'm in. Whoever decided skylights should have locks on them made my job way too easy. I almost feel a little bad. Almost. No alarms. It's a little weird, not gonna lie. I know they definitely went off last time I was here. You'd think this place would have better security considering the new exhibit. Then again, if they actually were prepared, it'd be a lot more work for me. No, time to get moving. Damn. Guess I'm not as alone as I thought I was. Who'd even be in the museum this late if they aren't security? Whatever. I just need to get to that exhibit and grab the demon's eye tiara, and I can get out of here. Should be simple enough. Just gotta keep whoever this is off my tail long enough to snag the prize. I think I lost them. Wow. That sure is some piece of headgear. I can see why it's the main attraction of this exhibit. I didn't think anyone could have this much old clothing and furniture. How is it even so well preserved after centuries? Damn it! Guess all those twists and turns I made didn't lose you after all. Stop right there and back away from the tiara. No, I don't think I'm going to do that. I've got a job here, darling. So you might want to stay over there while I do it. Because I really, really would hate for things to get ugly here. Hey! Hey, let go of me! If you wanted to be so close, I could have arranged it, you know. No need to be so bold now. Oh, that's not why you're currently on top of me holding me so close? Then enlighten me, darling. The exhibit. What do you care about the exhibit? If you cared so much, you should have gotten better security, set the alarms, called the cops when I sent my calling card in. Anything that would have at least made this a challenge. You shut off the alarms yourself. And I'm guessing you didn't even bother to call for backup. Did you think you were really gonna stay here and stop me from doing what I need to do? You should have just gone home, darling. Laid down a trap, did you? Darling, you really should have just let the police handle this. Don't you think I'm a little too much for you? The only reason you're still on top of me right now is because I'm letting you stay there. And that has nothing to do with you overpowering me. I admit, you caught me by surprise, but that only lasts a moment. Wait, I know you, don't I? Yes, I do. You're the museum's head exhibit curator. I can see your face much better now that you've moved into the light a little bit more. So, darling, you gonna let me go or what? No. Oh, but you really should. I'd only be a moment, and then you'll never see me around here again. Unless you're keeping me here because you want to keep seeing me. I don't blame you. I see. Well, if you're planning on calling the cops, which I'm pretty sure you are, I hope you realize you're going to have to let go of me to do it. You're right. I'll do what I want as soon as you let me go. But it's not like we can stay here on the cold, hard floors all night. As much as I'd like to stay close to you, it simply isn't the right place for that. Stop! But why would I want to? Kind of like seeing you all flustered. Yes, like that. You're so surprised. But I told you already that I could get you off of me at any time. But I've got to say, I like your fire. No, not enough to leave the tiara alone. I know you see me and all you see is criminal, but I'm much more than that. But I'm not expecting you to understand my reasons. Just know that I have them. The same trick won't work on me twice, darling. Now, if you behave, I won't have to bruise you up. In fact, we could even have a little bit of fun. But you do have to trust me on this. You do not want to have the demon's eye tiara. I mean, think about it. Something with a name like that just has to be cursed, doesn't it? And you don't want a cursed artifact, right? So how about I take it off your hands and I get cursed instead? No, things just got a lot more interesting. But you really shouldn't have done that, darling. Because you've just been promoted from innocent bystander to hostage. Congratulations. You know, it doesn't make much sense for you to think that you could handle something like this on your own. You really should have just left the alarms the way they were set. But now, now you get to come with me. My, aren't you lucky? Hold on tight now. Go on. Start climbing the ladder. It's sturdy, I promise. Just climb it. I know you have no reason to, but you have to trust me. Nothing bad is going to happen to you. What am I going to do to you? Well, actually, something, maybe. I haven't really decided yet. But it isn't anything bad. Honest, I'm a thief, not a monster. I'm not even a bad thief. Would a bad thief take away a potentially cursed artifact and risk themselves? No. I can't tell you any of that right now. If I did, then people might just let me walk right on into the places I want to go. Well, yeah, I'm doing these things for a reason. But that doesn't mean I want everyone to know my business, you know? Besides, I like the thrill of the chase that stealing things gives me. It's always better when you have to work for it. Reminds me, now that I've got you right where I want you, I've got something to say. Well, I'd like to start off by saying that your work is really nice. The way you arrange the exhibits is mesmerizing. You know just what to do to make sure everything catches a visitor's eye. That's part of the reason I like this place. Well, that and I always kind of have to come here pretty often because you guys always get something strange in your hands. Here. For you, darling. Why not use magic tricks more often? Well, I'd be imitating a pretty famous thief if I did that. And I don't want to be a cheap copycat. Sure, my methods may not be extravagant, but they get the job done, darling. Hmm? Why have I been calling you that? It's simple. Because that's what you are. And you're mine. And another thing, darling. I lied about you becoming my hostage. Seems I'll be out of here before the police even get here. And I'm sure they'll find a way to get you down from the roof. But you'll have to excuse me. Until next time. Chapter 2. Thank you for being so cooperative in the investigation. I understand that the most recent heist of this thief must have affected you personally. I'm sorry that you've since had to close off the exhibit that was targeted. Now, would you mind answering a few questions for me regarding the night the tiara was stolen? Thank you. First, I'd like to ask if you were in the museum alone on the night of the incident. And why were you alone, if I may ask? You had to stay behind and do some paperwork? So that means you were supposed to lock up and set the alarms before you left, right? And did you happen to set the alarms before you were set to leave that night? Hey, don't make that face. I'm not trying to accuse you of anything or blame you for what happened. What I mean is, did you at all feel the need to set the alarms while you were still in the building? Did you feel unsafe before the incident occurred? No? Even alone in such a large building? You're a braver person than most. Why were you alone in the building, by the way? I mean, you've got to have security guards at night, right? You can't just be relying on an alarm system to keep things in order. They were off that night. Wow. I'm sorry, but it sounds like you had quite the unlucky night. Any idea why all the security guards were given the night off? If I remember correctly, it's customary for this particular individual to leave a calling card, something that says that she'll be coming in to steal something. Isn't it a little suspicious that all of the guards were off that night? The director allowed it. Now that is pretty suspicious. And would you mind giving a more detailed description of the events leading up to when you were found on the roof? Wait. They said what to you? That's unusual. In the time I've worked this case, this thief has not been known to flirt with anyone they come across during these heists, genuinely or otherwise. Not during any of her heists before this in any part of the world. This is a first. What does it mean? It means that your role in this case has just been proven to be much more important than we originally suspected. Now, did she do or say anything else of significance to you on that night of the incident? She said the artifact that she was stealing was cursed and that she had a reason for doing it, and that she would tell you what that reason was? Kept it a secret, huh? Shame. But the idea that museums would suddenly just let someone like her in and take whatever she's looking for is laughable, almost. No matter how good she claims her intentions are, we cannot take the chance that this is all a ruse. Even if that is the case, this is information that not even the people obtaining these artifacts seem to have. So then, how on earth would a single thief be able to find all this out on a global scale? Doesn't make much sense, does it? Would you mind showing me to the exhibit that was targeted? I want to be certain the damages are cataloged properly in my report. Wow, this is really nicely done. I mean, the way this exhibit was put together, of course, not the theft job. Though, this is the cleanest one yet. Nothing's even smashed in this time. Oh, yes. This must be your first time actually being involved with the case directly. Many of the places this thief is targeted have had glass broken, artifacts smashed, and the like. We aren't entirely sure if the collateral damage is intentional or not, but it's interesting that there are so many new factors in this latest heist. I mean, there's no damage to be seen anywhere in the building, there's no security. You were here. No, I promise. I'm not accusing you of anything. All in all, there's nothing that even remotely points to you being a suspect in this investigation, aside from the fact that you were the only person found at the scene of the crime. However, we'd greatly appreciate your continued cooperation regarding this case. Yes, including the overseas incidents. I believe your experience would provide a greater insight into the motives of the so called phantom thief. But it's not as if everything she's told you is the truth. Still, if there's a potential motive, I suppose that's just one more thing to piece together in this case. But I have to admit, there's still something about that night that I don't quite understand. Well, it's actually about you. You've been cooperative today, and I do appreciate that. But I've noticed that you've been a bit distant, I guess you could say. It's almost as if you're trying to hide something from me. But you wouldn't hide important information from the police, would you? Didn't think so. You seem like a stand-up person. Not the type to commit any crimes or impede an investigation by not being fully cooperative. No, you look too nice for that. Too clean and proper. Maybe that's why our criminal friend decided to flirt with you like that. To get a reaction out of you. My apologies, but you do seem like the kind of person who would get easily flustered by something like that. Was I right? I didn't mean to offend you, and I'm sorry if I have. I really don't want to upset someone who could be so vital in learning the identity of this notorious thief. You know, now that I think of it, even after all these months, I don't believe anyone has actually gotten the name out of her. I didn't mean her actual name. I mean, like an alias. You know, it's a bit strange that we have no idea what to call her. But enough about that. I do have another question for you. You're the first person who's gotten close enough for a long enough time to give a detailed description of what the thief looks like. I understand that she was wearing a mask at the time of the incident, but were there any distinguishing features that you believe may be of use to us in potentially identifying who this individual is? Did they perhaps look familiar to you personally? It's just that this museum has been targeted several times already, and from your statements thus far, she seems to be quite familiar with who you are, despite it being your first meeting by your accord. That, combined with you being the only person to have been treated the way you were, does beg the question of what this thief wants with you specifically. No, I can't say I have any suspicions about what her motives are regarding you. But I would advise that you do what you can to ensure that the two of you are never alone should any future exhibit in this museum be targeted again. Here, my business card. It's got my contact information on it. I want you to keep this handy. If you ever feel like you need someone to talk to, or you feel unsafe, or, well, anything, feel free to contact me. You're the person of interest now, both for the authorities and for the criminal, and I want to make sure that you stay safe until this matter gets resolved. Don't get any ideas in your head now. This is purely professional, and I don't want you to be thinking of it as anything immoral. Now, I thank you for your cooperation today, but I believe you answered all the questions I have thus far. Remember, you can contact me regarding anything involving the case, and I will be sure to get back to you as soon as I can. Before I leave, though, would you mind if we return to your office for a moment? I'd just like to take one last look around to make sure that thief didn't steal any of your personal belongings on the night of the incident. You didn't happen to order anything recently, did you? Didn't think so. Mind if I check it out? Could be something suspicious if you weren't expecting it. Okay. Just don't get too close in case it is dangerous. This is a first. The note says, "Thank you for trusting me. Here's your new uncursed artifact." And it's signed with a P. Well, just like the note said, there's your missing tiara. And a peach-colored rose. I don't understand. She's never returned anything that she's stolen before. And what's more, there's the mention of curses again. Can we really be so sure it was cursed to begin with? You've spent a lot of time with this thing. Is there anything that looks different about it at all? Nothing. No jewels missing. Doesn't look like a forgery at all. Now, that is strange. And I'm sorry, but I'll have to take this back as evidence for the time being. Don't make that face at me. I promise I'll treat it with the utmost care. It is a precious ancient artifact after all. Thank you for your understanding. Well, I'll be seeing you. And please, make sure the director doesn't let all of the security guards off at the same time again.